Saturday morning. I think it's Saturday morning. This is Art of Rock. Welcome. Life is all about technical difficulties, and we're okay with that. Welcome. Okay, every Saturday morning we're going to come here and we're going to talk about music, making art in this big, terrifying existence that we all currently coexist in the existence of this time, this place. Jump on Angelspit's Twitch. It's all happening there. If you got a couple of bucks, send it my way. If you want to back the Patreon, only a few bucks a month. About the same amount you tip your bartender when you get a drink. You can tip me for yelling at you. That's great. Angelspit's just dropped a new single. It's called This Game Is Stupid. It's really short, and it's on Bandcamp. Go get it. After this, we're going to be streaming to, there's a really cool playlist I want you guys to know about called the Industrial Incisions Playlist. Adam, it's good to see your face. I want you to jump on that because it's bloody brilliant. And there's a whole bunch of bands, old bands that you know, like industrial classics, and a whole bunch of new stuff you need to know about. Talking about new stuff you need to know about. MTV TV. That's where we're going after here. And if you do a stream, always raid back to MTV TV. This is how we're going to keep our community together. It's how we're going to build everything. We've been wanting an amazing centralized thing. Now we have it. In fact, we need to start telling people at clubs about it, handing out flyers. So jump on that, and we're going to stream to MTV TV. If you're bored and you've got nothing to do, just watch MTV TV on Twitch. Whole bunch of bands, you've got to know about it. Welcome to Art of Rock. Your mic's alive. I actually would like to talk about mental health, because I think we're still dealing with so much stuff as a community, as individuals, post-COVID, post-everything. So I'm going to say some personal things now. Forgive me. Here we go. I downloaded a health app. I downloaded a workout app, and it's been really good. I don't even know what it is, but it talks to my phone's fitness thing. And it's, you know, when you're getting this app, you say, this is what I want. My main thing was cardio, strength, and that was it. I'm not interested in body sculpting or anything like that. My issue is I have problems walking out the door. I sit in this seat all day long. So my body, I need yoga. I hate yoga. I don't have the words to express how much I hate yoga. Brian from the Gossicles and I actually joke about yoga, although I think Brian does yoga. I think he's a ninja black belt at yoga, as he is with everything in his life. But I'm not, so I kind of look like an octopus fainting in the sun. But it's been really good because you know, there's a whole bunch of different apps, and some of them are free too. So, and there's all sorts of stuff like dancing and strength and yoga and stretching, especially stretching. And it's a really interesting thing that I've been noticing is that I have a theory that muscles hold grief, tension, and anxiety like emotional. They retain emotion, because when I'm doing my stretches, don't get a mental image of Carl doing stretches, I get really angry, and I get resentful, and I get really angry at myself and angry at so many things. And it's interesting that it's this thing that I have to pass, and each of these little stretches, you know, they're only like 10 minutes, but after about 3 minutes I'm really mad. And then afterwards, after about the 4-6 minute mark, I start calming down. And it's a similar thing when I go for walks, is that it's like I get mad. I get really angry, and I analyze my brain going, okay, there's a lot of anger going on right now. Like, I'm talking really, really angry. What am I angry at? And it's like, I'm not angry at anything. This is adrenaline, and this is just energy that's in my body, and it's latched itself onto my brain and went, oh, well, you could be really happy and think nice thoughts, or you could be really miserable, hate yourself, and be angry. And it does that for some reason. God, maybe I am a goth. I can't deal with this. The other thing is habit. And habits are great for exercise. And if you want to get one of these apps, or you want to go to a gym, I can't do gyms, A, because COVID is still around, B, now there's a whole bunch of flus that are still around, and C, I can't handle being in front of people exercising. Like jumping up and down on stage screaming, yeah, I'm okay with that, but not in front of people. Can't do that. I don't know why. Rob, it'll be great to see you. Thank you. I've found that if you're not used to putting on your gym shoes and going out the house, step one is change yourself into gym attire, which might be shorts or sweatshirts or whatever, even if you're just using the app. And do that for a few days and don't even do your exercise. The next thing you do is, if you have to wear shoes to go out, put the shoes out. Put the shoes on. And that's the first hurdle you're going to get over. Getting dressed. So once you're okay with getting dressed and putting the mat down or whatever in your house, do that. Then start doing the gym thing. Once you clear this, I'm going to call it a fear, because for me it's this strange, it's a wall. It's the strangest wall in my mind that says I can't do it, I can't do it, I can't go out. And it's the same thing with going out to a club or something. In LA, a lot of clubs start late, and I always start early the next morning. So I'll have me a disco nap during the day, and then I will do an extra 2 or 3 hours after 6 o'clock. Then I'll go out. My problem with LA is that I need a lift, because getting anywhere, like as in I need to bung a lift with a friend, because it costs me about $50 each way in a Lyft or an Uber. And I can't get public transport at night at LA because it's not safe. Anyway, and my God, the trains here have got so much worse post-COVID, and my heart goes out to the people who have been put into really difficult situations. Anyway, LA is a very fascinating city. And I really hope those people stay safe. Anyway, so yeah, that's the trick for me to going out is, and you have to plan ahead, and you have to go, I'm going out on Tuesday night, whatever night it is, I'm going to go out. I'm going to go out. And if you have a posse of people who go out, that's great. But go out even if they don't go out. You must go out. Do it for yourself. If you have to have a drink at a bar, get a drink at a bar. But you know, maybe you don't, because it's great exercise. Just putting your head down and dancing is great exercise. And the great thing about a goth bar as well is you can, it's okay to, like everyone, you can wear a mask now, but you can literally wear a mask, or you can put your hoodie over your head and just lose yourself in the beat. Because that's what we do. That's my thoughts on it. Because I think the problem is there's a whole bunch of energy in me, and I know for a lot of people as well, and that energy manifests in a little voice in your head that doesn't say nice things. It says really terrible, negative, horrible things. Yeah, and they're not there. They don't exist. It's just in your head. If any of you guys, Alex or Satan, Ivan Satan, if you guys want to throw in on that, we could have a chat about this for a bit. Oh my God, your voice is normal. Please tell me your thoughts.
Just this simple act of walking is amazingly good exercise, because it is it's kind of full body. You know, you're moving the whole thing in a direction, and you know, you put on the miles, and it feels better. When we were in New York last weekend, we were putting on like 20,000 steps a day, and yeah, the only thing it did was take a very positive experience and make it even more positive. You know, it was like everything was just more fun as a result. Like, and thankfully, I'm to the point now where my back and legs and feet don't, you know, complain.
Gotta tell you, man, the thing I love about New York City is that city makes you want to walk. There's just something about it that you can just walk. I love it.
And just keep, yes.
It's made for pedestrians.
Yes.
And did you notice that most New Yorkers, like, when I first came to the US, sorry, I don't mean to, I was introduced to a term called New York hot. That everyone in New York is hot. And the reason is because they walk everywhere.
Walking.
They're always walking.
No. You can see it everywhere.
Yeah, New York hot. Like, were they hot or were they New York hot? And the person who actually introduced me to that term was a New Yorker.
Yeah, there was I was definitely noticing a difference. But like on the mental health thing, I mean, good news is these days it is completely okay to talk about it. You know, used to be that you kind of didn't feel like you could do that. You know, and that wasn't even that long ago. But these days it is completely okay, because nobody's gonna judge. You know, not like they used to. And that's great. Yeah, at the same time, like, yeah, there's a lot of. I mean, the good thing also is we live in a world where, you know, there's plenty of YouTube going on, and there's a bizarrely, you know, large number of fairly high quality resources on YouTube when you're looking for, you know, kind of working through, you know, issues, or you're just kind of like fixing philosophy and, you know, changing one's outlook, and, you know, like, and it's not just like the whole like toxic positivity thing, but like, you know, yeah, you do the deep thinking on a lot of that stuff. And, you know, I will definitely go, so, you know, always, you know, point out that, you know, finding a good therapist was really good for me. I got lucky. I found a good one. So, you know, on the first try. Amazing. And then, you know, like, actually, like, plenty of YouTube videos that have been really helpful. And, you know, like, a quick reread of, you know, some good old-fashioned Nietzsche. Dude had an outlook. And bizarrely, if you really, really digest and think about what he's like deep dive on thinking about what he's saying, be in the moment and think about it, you'll get new perspectives on what it means to be human. And generally speaking, those will lead you in a more positive direction, because kind of what he was trying to get people to do is just did it with a lot of words and occasionally by being a dick.
Awesome. I love it, man. I love it. Feed your brain too. Thank you, Alex or Rob. Welcome. Do you, Alex? What you got?
Yeah, I struggle a bit because I really know what makes me feel better, but I just don't do it often of the time. And the thing that helps me the most is just social accountability, like someone expecting me to be somewhere and asking why I'm not there if I'm not there. For example, I have like with a friend group a time where we meet online to do exercise, and we just do the same YouTube fitness video. But because there's an expectation to be there, and they actually call me if I'm not there, like, where are you, dude? And that really helps me. And also, like, if there's like a work kind of environment where just someone is expecting you, that really helps me to get out of my misery and just into the world. My head gets more focused. Yeah, and also, like, I don't think everything Nietzsche said is right or true, but I think he's right on
You have to think about it, though.
That you shouldn't fall into this kind of victim mentality. I think that's a really important lesson, because it's so easy to wallow in your own misery, and to just think about possibilities how to better yourself is so important, and something that I need to get better at.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you, man. God damn. Rob, if you want to throw in, do you want to throw in?
I think you're talking about getting outside and in amongst the public and stuff. Is that right?
Sure, mental health and that too.
Yeah, I travel. I travel all the time for work, and most people don't wear masks, and most people have kind of moved on from COVID. They got vaccinated and they don't care anymore. And there's so many different strains that nobody can keep up, so it's kind of all a mystery. I haven't really known of anyone getting COVID for a long time, except for Ivan because he's coughing.
Yeah, that'd be the 2 packs a day that I was smoking during COVID.
Yeah, your battery's low, I think, Ivan, on your camera. Yeah, I don't really have much problems with it. I don't go and frequent really highly populated places because I'm still kind of concerned about it. So I keep my distance out of habit. And my preference these days is to work from home all the time. So when they want me to go into work, it's like, do I have to? But yeah, it's kind of, everything's different.
Yeah, I just lost Rob. I just want to say big love to DJ Underminer. I'm just actually going to throw this into the chat because this is always good stuff from DJ Underminer, who's setting up a Patreon, which is going to be awesome. Okay, it's really interesting that habit. Diana, welcome.
I had a lot of thoughts on isolation.
Yeah, me too. The Great Isolation. Go ahead.
I grew up in a wildly isolated world. Wildly.
Yeah.
That was bad, fucking bad back then. And, I reached a point in my life where I was able to start making my own decisions. And one of the first decisions I made was that I would not be isolated. I would not sit around on my own ever again. And that was good. And then COVID came along and everybody needed to isolate again. And that was really, really bad. I got into some bad habits early on. For instance, day drinking. That was bad. I needed to kind of reassert my relationship with alcohol since COVID, since things renormalized or normal-ish-ized. I don't know what the good word is. And we go back to New York last week. We did 20,000 steps a day, but also, dude, maybe it's just me. New York is one of the friendliest damn cities in the country. Everybody's just kind of awesome. And, this trip proved it yet again. It was just, I met more people waiting to get into the show, in New York than I meet at the show in Chicago, which is saying a lot because Chicago is a pretty wide open city. So is LA. People in LA are actually a lot more cool than that look on your face is suggesting. I've always met people when I'm in LA, but New York it's so much easier. Probably because of density, but
well, everyone's happy because they live in New York.
And there's that. And have you tried the water out there?
It's great.
New York tap water. Fucking, people in the rest of the country pay for bottled water that comes close but doesn't succeed.
There you go. More reasons why New York is amazing.
Yeah. Then I made the mistake of having a bagel out there.
You did?
Oh, yeah.
Why was that a mistake?
I will not be able to eat bagels elsewhere now.
Oh, no, yeah. Yeah, for sure. And pizza.
Didn't do the pizza.
Yeah. Yeah, well, every corner's got a Joe's Pizza, and it's the best pizza in New York. Just like Chicago, they've got a Joe's Pizza, which is the best pizza in Chicago.
And they've got Pequod's, which is the best pizza.
Wow. It is interesting. Rob, you said something interesting about forming habit. And I think a lot of people formed habits, and now we're in the process of trying to break those habits. Look at those habits and go, those habits are really crap. I need to break them. Yeah, it's real. It's quite a thing, man. I used to go out. I used to go out every day. I used to walk half a mile to get food every day. So I'd come home, hauling bags, half a mile through the snow in LA. Not really, just kidding.
Wait,
But it was
uphill, both directions?
yes, but it was blistering fucking heat though. And that was a workout. I don't do that anymore. And I am aware of how that has, aged me. And obviously the question I'm creeping towards is, has this affected my music? And has this affected my artistic output? Because I have a really strong belief that you don't need grief and pain and hurt and heartache to make good art. You don't. You need a clear mind. And if you want to read about grief if you want grief and heartache, watch a fucking Aronofsky film or Lord of the Rings or something. There's heaps of grief and heartache in that shit. You need a clear, functioning mind that is going to take ideas and be able to present them clearly and creatively. And you can define clear and creative however you want. That was my... that's my... my thing. And, some people disagree with that. That's okay. They're wrong. Sorry, Adam, I just saw your comments in the book, in the thing, and I was having a... but, yeah, the clear mind, and that to me comes back to exercise and being in a relatively healthy, environment, and being around people. For me, humans inspire my music so much. When I'm at a club or on a train or somebody, and I see somebody, and it's like, if that person had a slogan, what would that slogan be? What is that person's? And there's a chorus right there, that if you can figure out, and you're making a whole bunch of assumptions, by the way. This is a fantastic situation. It's not based on fact, but when you look at someone and you look at how they're dressed and you go, what is this person's story? They're your lyrics. There's an idea. So yeah, there's my rant. Somebody else want to have a rant?
If you want to voyeur, some suffering, just pick up Anna Karenina. Great book. Bit of a read. Some of the names are kind of complicated, but holy crap, you're gonna see it. It's all there. The Idiot, also a good choice. It's very easy because we're human, and our brains are actually really lazy by default, because processing information, making decisions, doing logic that takes glucose, because brain runs on glucose. Glucose used to be a very rare thing in our environment, and and the brain is a very expensive organ, and so it came up with tricks for itself to not try that hard, so it didn't have to burn energy that wasn't available. We don't live in that world anymore. We're not hunter-gatherers. We can go to 7-Eleven, get a super Slurpee, and have all the glucose we could possibly need. So we should use this harder. But one of the results of that urge to be lazy is patterns, and just doing things automatically is going to be the default. It's where our brain wants to go. And unfortunately, as we're growing up, we get some bad programs installed. We get malware. Maybe your parents installed them. Maybe a teacher installed it. Maybe your own peers installed it. Maybe TV installed it. Maybe lots of ways that that malware can get installed. And the only way to uninstall it is to step back and observe yourself and how you're doing things, and like be in that moment and pay attention. Because once you start to see that, well, that's a pattern, that's not a choice, then you can start saying, okay, well, I'm going to make a choice instead of just following a pattern. Because the pattern's usually not to your benefit. It's usually the opposite of to your benefit. And once you start observing, you can start steering yourself in a beneficial direction instead of just doing what you were going to do because you were going to do what you were going to do, which is usually not the right thing. It's far too easy for that to end up being the wrong thing.
Or the easy thing.
Oh, yeah, or more importantly, the easy thing, because the easy thing and the wrong thing are very often the same.
Yeah, for sure.
Because like there's a certain advantage to taking the road less traveled. In that it usually leads to a better place, and like life is a journey and a destination, as it turns out.
For sure, man. Thank you. Rob, it's so good to see you.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I like the good habits that came out of it, because I like to sit. I'm lucky enough to have a little garden at home, so there's like butterflies and hummingbirds and stuff like that going on, and my wife and I will sit outside, and we've got this app called Merlin ID, and it IDs all the birds, and it's amazing to sit there. It records all of the birds' noises, and it uses AI to identify them all. And it's really a discovery process where you're sitting there.
Sorry, it was called what?
Merlin ID.
MERLIN.
Like the wizard. Merlin.
ID.
It's by Cornell University. It's an app. It is amazing. It basically takes a audio spectrogram as a reference from a bird call, and it matches it to your recording, and it comes up with all the hits of all the different birds. And it's a discovery process. It helps you tune in to what's going on around you, and it makes you excited about the life that is happening around you that you would have taken for granted if you were just sitting there having a conversation. And what I've discovered, Ivan, is that I've become a gatherer. I'm no longer a hunter, I'm a gatherer. I'm respecting the environment, I'm collecting information about everything around me in the garden. And when I travel, I'm always taking with me my microphone that plugs into the iPhone, and I'm always taking a small zoom video camera. And my wife is used to me now holding them in my hands everywhere I go. Street art and street people are super inspirational. Like sitting down with a homeless guy and having a discussion for 15 minutes, finding out that they used to be a stockbroker or a golf player or something like that, and they just want to tell their story. They don't care what the situation is. They're happy where they are. They just want to tell a story and have a conversation. That's inspiration. Street art, spray paint, graffiti, that's inspiring. We're in the New York subway, and there's this guy comes on with his rap music boombox, like from the 80s, his ghetto blaster. He starts doing acrobatics on all of the handles in the train. And everyone was scared of him, and that he was spinning around and legs were going everywhere. And I thought, this guy's absolutely cool. And I looked him up, and I didn't know that there was this whole artistic movement in New York City trains for basically breakdancing inside the trains.
Wow.
Yeah, it was incredible. And I had my camera with me, but I didn't video him because I thought this is his thing and he wants to get tips. I'm not going to take it away from him. And the other thing I struggle with is when I see interesting people on the street, I want to take their picture, I want to take some video, but if I approach them and ask them for their permission, it breaks the dynamic that I'm trying to capture.
Yeah.
So I've got to be really subtle about that. And I like to use this material in video clips. It's inspiration, it's raw, it's humanity.
Yeah. It's really interesting that I want to so badly record so many street artists. And Alex, I saw your hand, by the way. But I guess partly out of respect for them, and also I don't, but also for myself, I'm trying to go, this moment is happening in front of me right now. Because, I'm not projecting onto you or anything, but my problem is my whole life is through a screen. And if I can go, this thing I am looking at now, right now, it's a really powerful connection to the moment, because it's kind of something I have trouble with. Alex, go.
My problem sometimes is also realizing what's important and what is not. And it sounds so trivial, but it's so difficult. Saying, okay, I want to do this now and not this. And if I do this, am I really like relaxing, or am I just putting myself under more stress? Yeah, that's also very difficult.
Yeah. If I was to be so bold, I would say lists that you print out and you stick next to your computer, as I have lists fucking everywhere in here. I have a to-do list in front of me that I'm always going through, and I have my what I'm supposed to be doing right now list, like a timetable of every single day that, you know, if I go, I don't know what the hell I'm doing, and I start doom scrolling or something, I go to the list and go, okay, well, right now I'm supposed to be working on the album or artwork or administration, which is the most boring thing as well. And also put like a 1 hour a day. You can limit your time on these things. An hour.
Do you make your lists with a text editor or
yes.
Word? Or?
Well, I actually use it's kind of Word, it's kind of a text editor. I have 2 to-do lists on my freaking computer, which are text files, and I also have this guy, which is the what's going on right now. I always have shit in my face because I forget. I get unmotivated, whatever. I'm sort of aware at how my brain works, and, you know, as was mentioned before, it will take the easiest route as soon as it can. And there's other things like I can't watch movies like during the day, because if I watch a movie during the day, that's going to turn into 3 hours of YouTubing nebula and extraterrestrial fucking sightings and bullshit, and then synthesizers, because all those things go hand in hand. So I have to avoid being a lazy fuck. And there's a time to have fun, and there's a time to relax. And I do those things, and I'm really particular about doing those things, but there's a time to work. And when I gotta work, I gotta fucking work. Sorry, man, I just railroaded you.
I capture all my lists either if I'm at work, doing work, then it's in Outlook in the Notes tab, and that all gets backed up with your mail, and it tracks the status of it, so you can go back and say, hey, I completed this, and I've got this all done, and that helps with reviews and stuff. If it's music, it's always either in my iPhone notes. I've got thousands of notes in my iPhone, and that gets backed up to iCloud. Or if it's lyrics, I'll generally open up Google Docs and open up Google Drive and create a new Google Doc and just type it all up, type all the lyrics up in there, you know, to the tune of lead sounds like this, you know, graphics are going to be like this in the intro, and cut these scenes in. I'll document everything that's in my head, because I guarantee 4 hours later I will forget all of those brilliant ideas. So documenting your ideas is key. Executing, that's a different story. That you need to have your to-dos in your schedule for executing. But I probably use notes more for capturing ideas.
That's brilliant, because that sort of also leads on to something we were talking about before, which is how do you capture musical ideas? And I would highly recommend get familiar enough with music that you kind of can pick scales. That if you have a melody in your head or something, if you don't know, I'm going from C to E, if you don't know that, then at least you have some way of playing it and writing it down. That you have some form of musical notation. Like, musical notation on a piece of paper is super easy. I find musical notation on my phone is kind of hard because I don't know how to. Except band, you know, the little garage band. I fucking hate them. That's why I want a piece of paper. Zen Beats. Okay, maybe I should...
It's Roland's Zen tool for phones.
There you go.
It's got a piano roll.
There you go. How much is it?
I don't even... It was so cheap, I don't remember.
All right.
Yeah, if you get... there's Pretty Lips Studio or FL Studio has a phone app as well.
They
And
do.
there's another one, I can't remember the name of it, but it was on my old phone and I used to use it all the time. I'd capture samples with my phone, drop them into that little mini DAW, and then write stuff while I was sitting doing nothing for one reason or another. I'd be able to create a framework of the song on my phone and then back it up, use it as a reference.
That's awesome. Yeah, I was actually recommending that a guy who needed help with writing beats, I just said download a 909 because they're free. Just download a 909 and put dots on the matrix and see what happens. You know? They're bloody great. Incidentally, plug the song that I have been struggling with for 1 trillion years now, called The Tyranny of the Beat. I uploaded it to Patreon. So it's going to be the song of the month, which goes live tomorrow morning. It's got problems, and I'd like to know what your thoughts on it are. Although I've been working on it since I think that, and I think I've broken its back, but it's fucking impossible. That song is impossible. Anyway.
Is that the one you were talking about last time, Carl?
Yeah, I was talking about it a month ago. Like,
Yeah.
literally a month ago. I actually did the Emacs session when I was putting down synths over a month ago. And I've been complaining about this track for so long. And I don't know. I just don't know the problem. I don't know what's up with it. Whether it doesn't fit on the album. It's got to go on the album. I'm not changing the lyrics because they're great. I don't want to change the melody because it's great. And I guess that's the problem, is that I've got all of these factors in the song that just won't budge. Hey, look, I just took over the conversation. Anyway, you'll hear it tomorrow, and be nice. Because I'm so fucking... too much going on. Yes, I know. Okay. We are beginning to talk about the notation of musical ideas, and this is wonderful. Does anybody else have anything else?
I'm also kind of bad at it. The best way I had was like just using the recording function on the phone and just sing into it. Because then you can also capture the lyrics and how you mean it, because sometimes just writing down the lyrics don't transfer how it's meant to be sung. So yeah, but the downside is, of course, then you have to listen to your own voice. But this can also be a good thing, then you get desensitized, and this helps you to get out of your head.
Well, you can dump that. You can dump the WAV file into Ableton and pull the MIDI right out of it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, which can set you up to start writing the rest of the parts for the song.
You might need the full version of Ableton. I don't know. But
I can't remember. I have the full version, so
I think Logic has also something similar.
Cool. Also, one more... Sorry. I'm
Don't
going
quote me on that.
All right. The new Angelspit single, The System, will be available free to everybody on the Patreon as well. I'll be uploading that very shortly. Just I haven't, because I'm a slack fuck. Rob, your hand. Bless me with your knowledge.
Actually, it's just a quick question. When I push stuff out on DistroKid for artists, one of the streamers that it goes to is Tidal, and I was looking up this morning what is the highest quality streaming service that does FLAC files and stuff like that, and Tidal came up as the best one.
There you go.
I've never subscribed to Tidal. It seems expensive at $10 a month, but if I use my son or my daughter's student ID, I can get it for $5 a month. So I might do that and share it with one of them, because I've got no way of quality checking what's coming through on that other service, and I want to see if that service is worth using. Does anyone have any experience with Tidal, or is it like an overinflated thing?
I like the audio quality from Tidal way better, because it does sound better. Content-wise, they're a little behind behind Spotify, but
Yeah, I figured it was maybe like a unique service that musicians and maybe movie makers use, because it supports Dolby Atmos mastering and all this other stuff, which is cool, but it's not mainstream. So
Yeah,
I
well,
wondered
it was like originally it was supposed to be like I think they envisioned themselves as a replacement for Spotify, because one of the things that they do is they do pay the artists better. Like, so your per stream on that is going to pay out higher. The
Okay.
thing is the adoption of Spotify is so high now that it's going to make it hard for them to overcome that. But I think that they technically the service is better. Thing is a lot of stuff that I really like to listen to isn't there yet.
Here's a question. So do you have to pay extra with DistroKid to go to Tidal?
No.
Right, great. Excellent.
I just got no way of checking it without signing up. So I thought I might as well sign up, and I thought I really need a streaming service that allows really long play, very, very high audio quality. And it seems to have the best audio quality available and ad-free and all that sort of stuff. So it's kind of neat if you're doing, major productions and stuff like that, that's not meant to be really for your normal listening audience. I think it's really focused at audiophile type of people who really want that high quality rendition without having to go and get the original off an LP or a DAT or a reel-to-reel or what have you. I've actually got a bunch of reel-to-reel and DAT stuff that I'd like to put onto Tidal, which is from concerts around the East Coast, and I want to mark them as the proper artists, but I want to make sure that the quality is fully reproduced. So you imagine you've got 4 mics in a bar, a dodgy bar, and the crowd is chinking their glasses and swearing at each other and get out of the hell of the way, in my way, blah, blah, blah. All of that is captured in these recordings. And it's got all of the notes of all of the microphones that were used to record it all. And it's all of big name artists like Led Zeppelin and, Grateful Dead, Fish, you name it. And I thought the only way I'm going to be able to share this with people is to maybe put it on a really high quality audio service long play that people can kind of tune into if they're interested.
Awesome.
Another thing I wanted to bring up was I bought a couple of discs online from Germany the other day, and they finally turned up, and it was a really cheap set of EMU Emax discs. But what it turned out to be...
Go on.
What it turned out to be was a folder that shipped from Germany full of discs, and I don't know how many's in here. I think there's 30 CDs in here, and they're all personally printed discs. See, my name is on there. EMU, Rob Phillips, Avito, Nice Bites.
I gotta ask. Oh my God! So they have Emax floppies or an Emax CD-ROM? They
made CD-ROMs specifically for me.
And there's do you have an Emax?
Yeah.
What?
I got an Emax 2, a rack mount.
Bugger. Do they have so they're Emax 2 samples?
Yeah.
Do they have is there a K2000 one in there as well?
Well, in here there's a set of everything that you can think of for the Emax specifically.
God damn. What about...
So you can see.
Oh, that's insane. This is 2,500. Dude, oh my God. That's so amazing.
Yeah, it's crazy. So I had to break out the old CD drive and plug it in, and I'm going to have a bit of a listen today. But they wasn't expensive, and I think it was 30 CD-ROMs on eBay. And the name of the vendor is... I think it was Nick's Beats or something. Nice Bites Music. So
here's something interesting to know. Disney Plus, which is the #2 streaming entertainment streamers, I want to talk more about that. Just give me a sec. It has got 152 million paid subscribers. The number one is Spotify with 433 million users. 188 million.
And does Spotify pay artists?
Yes, it does. I just actually... Spotify has more subscribers than Disney. Holy shit. Yeah, I was just... while we were talking, I was trying to find music. The top music streamers, because I thought that I have... I spend so much time, like, working on Spotify at the back end, kind of pushing stuff and shit. And then I thought, maybe I should get the top few... because I'm also on Amazon Music, but that's kind of really pointless. And now Apple's also trying to stake a claim. Spotify's tried a new thing where it's sort of a beta stage right now, where they're saying, okay, we're going to push some of your songs. And did I tell you about this? I can't. It's called Discovery or something. And let's just say you have 1,000 plays of that song a month. No, let's say 100 plays of that song a month. Obviously, all of the money you make from that is yours, but they're going to push it onto Discovery or whatever this new tool is called. And whatever you make above that 100, maybe you'll get 60 additional plays. Spotify is going to take 30%. So 30% of your streaming royalties, they don't pay you for, they keep. I'm going to give it a go, because I tried, it wasn't Marquee, or was it, yeah, I think it was Marquee, the Marquee paid promotion. That was a total waste of fucking money. But I just thought I got nothing to lose, and it would be really interesting to see, does this work? And sure, it's a way for Spotify to go, well, I want to pay you even less, but, fuck, man, 488 million monthly users. Sure, you're getting paid nothing, but the plays on Spotify are, if you do it right, it's amazing. And what I've always said about Spotify is that if you got played radio royalties, if your song got played on a radio once and it had a listenership of, say, 50,000 people, the amount of money you would be receiving for that broadcasting royalty is way less than what you would be receiving from Spotify, because it's all broadcasting royalties, like, whatever. But hey, man, everything's the devil, and everything wants to fuck the initial creator. Always has been, always will be. But we forge ahead. Ivan's
do you use Spotify Analytics?
Yes, heavily.
Is that free, or do you have to pay?
No,
for that?
That's free. Well, the one I use is free. All the Spotify for Artists stuff, and I'm also on Apple Music Artists and Amazon Artists, and it's really interesting. I'm really got a close eye on Amazon Artists, even though what Amazon Music is like, for me, nothing. Apple is okay for me. It's a little bit, but Spotify for me wins. Apple Music. Apple Music are trying to push stuff harder. They're trying to have a better service. They all are, because I think they saw Spotify and go, whoa, those guys are making money. Let's make money. And if, sure, they're making money. Go ahead.
I've had videos rejected by Apple Music, but nobody else.
Dude, Apple Music, I've given up on putting iBooklets up, because Apple Music and I think a lot of streaming services have gone, you know what, fuck it, we're not doing this anymore. I don't think AWOL takes I don't know about DistroKid, but I'm pretty sure they don't do digital booklets anymore, because Apple Music is such a pain in the crack to deal with. They really fucking are. So, I'll still make something digital for Bandcamp. I guess I'm doing that on this release. But I don't know, man. Yeah. There's another great one called Chartmetric, which you do have to pay for. And it will give you a breakdown of absolutely everything TikTok, YouTube, Spotify, the whole lot. And you can log yourself and you can log others. And if there's a band that you go, I want to be like that band, what are they doing? It'll tell you, it'll basically show you what they're doing through graphs and stuff. Yeah. Good times.
Cool, I'll check that out.
I'm going to leave this for a sec. Can you guys just talk openly? I want to deal with the cat situation very fast. So the floor is yours. Talk about something creative while I'm gone. I'll be back in a second.
And Alex, go.
So, what's your opinion on nonsense lyrics? Do you think that's like stupid, or do you think it's totally valid because it's just about feeling? Like, for example, if I just brain dump and try to just word salad my way through lyrics, how do you feel about that?
I think
Have you ever listened to "Hungry Like the Wolf" by Duran Duran?
Yeah.
Go look at the lyrics for that song.
So weird, wacky lyrics becomes memorable if it's a really good tune. You know, and some of the most popular songs in the past, like the chart toppers, haven't even been in English, and they've made it. So I think the lyrics do matter because people want to connect more with the emotion and the meaning. But in some cases, if it's a really catchy tune, then the wackiness of the lyrics can actually be really appealing as well, even if they're meaningless.
Yeah, early Duran Duran lyrics. Crazy sauce, what's going on? But it works because it works, and it is really good tune. Okay, really well produced. Let's face it. And then not only are the lyrics are wacky, but they fit, and they're well sung. I mean, like there's a whole. They've got all the things going on at the same time, and that's, I think, probably what makes it possible to get away with crazy sauce lyrics. At the same time, like there's Liebach.
Yeah, in the US and Australia, we had 99 Luck Balloons back in the 80s, and Rammstein in the 2000s. Nobody cared what language it was in. I mean, it was obviously, they're both in German, but for the rest of the English-speaking world, they were chart toppers, and we didn't understand what they were on about, but it was cool. It didn't matter.
There's this Spanish band called Black Mamba. They are not big or so, but what they did is the singer didn't know any English, but he just spitted out words he thought would sound English, which is quite interesting.
Yeah, think about System of a Down as well. Like the composition of their songs is what makes it really interesting and enjoyable. And the lyrics, the way that they sing the lyrics is the interesting part as well. The lyrics themselves are largely meaningless. You've got to really pay attention to some of their songs to get the meaning out of them. But the way that they sing them, like they screech them and they do falsetto and then they'll do baritone, then they'll change into a really wacky different beat, 3/4 bridge or something like that. Again, the lyrics aren't as important for, a really interesting piece.
Hey, sorry, go ahead.
Bjork. Let's not forget Bjork.
BYOB?
Bjork.
Oh, no, Bjork. Yeah, exactly.
Björk.
Crazy sauce lyrics, but it all works because reasons.
Yeah, and I think the difference there, Alex, might be that everyone composes music differently. You can have a list for creating music, but I guarantee everyone's method will be different. And their inspiration will be different at the beginning. And what's the first thing that they create with? Is it a piano? Is it lyrics? Is it a guitar? Is it a riff? is it chord progressions? Everyone that I work with has a completely different approach. And I would imagine that if you're not too hung up in the lyrics, then that means that you're starting with a piano or a drum kit, and that the lyrics aren't really driving the song, and therefore they're not as important to the outcome. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? You can create music with gobbledygook, with electronic sounds from the 70s. It doesn't matter.
And that's totally my jam. Hey, this is a really interesting conversation. I want to jump in on it. I just found another article that's saying that YouTube is actually the highest ranking, with 61% of US music listeners who use it monthly. 61%. Spotify is second, tied with Amazon at 35%. Wow, man, my Amazon... Huh?
Because of actual people who pay money. Because there are many listeners on Spotify, but I think that the people who actually subscribe are way less.
That's
you
interesting.
Have to account for that.
Hold on, I'll have a closer read of this. I might even put this in the comments. It's a really interesting article.
Yeah, and I think many people are subscribed to Amazon for the fast delivery and the
yeah,
movies.
you could be right, because that's included. That's interesting. And plus, you know, you watch... Well, also, you do watch YouTube for free. I mean, everyone's on YouTube all the time. I wonder if that's actually... Oh, look, I don't know. But anyway, this is... It's a really interesting article.
I think I discover more music through YouTube than through anything else.
Do you play the videos, or do you play the like, you know how they have tracks with the video cover on them? Which one? Music videos?
I think it's both. Like, if the title is interesting and if the cover's interesting, and also sometimes what just comes next if I have it like on a radio kind of function.
That's interesting. I gotta tell you, I keep bitching to people about how hard it is making videos, and I will reiterate, after this we're going to MTV TV, where you can see some amazing videos and some really good experimental low-cost videos. Yeah, I was saying to one of my friends last week, I said, look, let's go out into the desert for a weekend, and both of our bands will shoot videos. And we'll both be in each other's videos. How fun does that sound? I had to convince them.
That sounds crazy fun.
I know.
Like, how would you? Why would you need to convince? The answer is yes. Yes.
Yeah. Oh my God. Hey, so if you're in LA,
let's get at a time.
Oh my God, if you're in LA and you want to do that, please hit me up, because I really want to / desperately need to do that. And plus, oh God.
Oh, that would be awesome. I love this idea.
No, it would be awesome. Oh God, yeah, I'd love to do it. I'd really love to do it.
I just have to convince the other two to come along.
Hey, what?
I just have to convince the other two to come along.
And that's the hard bit, because I don't drive. But, you know, you drive like 2 hours here and you're in some crazy fucking desert. Or some amazing salt plain.
Driving, I'm not worried about. Rent a car. It's okay. We just got to get out there. Just got to get the other two to come along.
Yeah.
In your damn costume.
That's a problem I face a lot. Sorry if I'm taking over again. Is that I have a lot of trouble finding people to have fun with in LA. Like, it's so hard. New York, I was turning people down. Well, I just found with New York, it was like, oh, let's do something crazy. Yes. Let's go somewhere and possibly risk our lives to do art. Yes. Let's go right now. Chicago was kind of as easy. It took me a while to get to know people, but they were like, yeah, I'm all about it. Let's do something crazy. LA, no. It's just really hard, and it's I found it difficult to I've just found it hard here that
I think in LA, if it's happening right now
and in front of you at this very moment,
now, let's do this, then it's easier. But if it's like, let's do this on Saturday,
I might have something better on Saturday.
You just get it difficult.
The mind-blowing thing about this place is that within 3 hours, there are abandoned towns, several abandoned towns. There is so much stuff in LA, like around it. And you go out to Nevada, and if you want to go even further, oh my God, Joshua Tree for sure.
You've got Salton Sea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that big lake, the salty lake with the town next to it, where Weezer and Evanescence filmed one of their video clips? That's really cool. I've been out there.
Yeah. I've actually been trying to people to go there. I can't remember what it's called. There's also Xerxes, which is like a huge salt plant, and then if you want to go past Death Valley, there's just so much crazy desert people art out there, because they've got like the car fucking thing out there as well, and it's like the car graveyard, but it's, I don't know, it's so cool, but motivating people to say, let's do this thing. We're going to take our phones. We're going to shoot a video. We'll figure out the video in the car as we're driving out there. And nah.
Take your makeup and your clothes as well.
Yeah.
Because that's what makes it a rock video, is you've got to look the part.
Yep. And just take some sheets. Or whether you're going to be wearing the sheets or throwing the sheets around or ripping them up or splattering blood on them, we don't know. But just take random stuff. And, okay, this guy's going to be chasing this guy while that guy's actually rolling a tire. Because we found a tire. And we're going to use that tire. And there's no reason, but it doesn't matter because this is rock and roll. And if we shoot it right, it'll look like Far Side of Crazy by fucking Wall of Voodoo.
And when you finish, go into this dodgy roadside bar and just all line up sitting at the bar having a drink in your costumes, covered in blood splatter.
Yeah. And all the locals are just going to go, oh, they're shooting a video again. They won't even look at them. That is actually something I loved about New York, is that you could wear anything in the world. People won't even look at you. They won't even acknowledge you. And it's not like they're being rude. It's like, oh yeah, he just got off a photo shoot, or he's a crazy freaky guy dressed up as a lampshade. Whatever. This is New York. It's cool. In LA, thinking in LA, man, come on, it's just that will probably get you killed. And Chicago people will probably look at you in certain places, but fucking New York, man. Oh, God. So if anybody wants to go to Joshua Tree for a weekend and we just shoot videos, please.
Oh, absolutely.
Please.
I love this idea. Also, New York.
There it is. I can't see that clearly.
Outside the club after the show on Friday, there's a guy that shows up dressed like Sub-Zero every week.
Excellent.
And awesomest dude ever. Like, yeah, awesome dude. Awesome dude. And, I had to talk to him because I used to work for Midway.
Fantastic.
And I love the idea of Joshua Tree. I just got to figure out when the other two can get out there with us, and we'll rent a truck or minivan or who the fuck cares, and then go do the thing, because that just sounds awesome.
Yeah, or dress up like a married couple just walking through the desert with roses and big cowboy hats for no reason.
Get married in the desert.
Yeah.
Just get married in the desert.
Yeah. And they're giving each other dirt.
Yeah.
And then they're just dropping the dirt on the ground and like lamenting, and then they've got this huge bag of dirt that they put down, take out some dirt, ceremoniously let it go, keep walking. There you go. And while they're being followed by a guy with a tire. And he's the bad guy.
Borrow somebody's llama. Make sure you have a llama in the background.
And if we don't make it an inflatable llama, it's the other guy's carrying a llama, an inflatable llama. Make it as Lynch as you possibly can. Why? Just cause. That's actually a great idea for a video.
I'm liking it. I'm totally liking it. Something about two people fighting over an accordion.
I love it. That's actually really good. And I actually have cowboy boots. Bitchin' cowboy boots. Have I ever shown you my bitchin' cowboy boots? I'm going to show you my bitchin' cowboy boots. This is going totally off rails. I don't care.
Mm.
So I've got these ones, which are my semi-bitchin' cowboy boots. I actually bought these in Josh at Retreat, covered in LA dust. Semi-bitchin'. But my bitchin' cowboy boots I got in Hollywood because there's this shop in Hollywood that if it's been in a movie, they source clothes and often they'll just sell them afterwards. Oh yeah, and I wear these. I haven't actually worn these in quite a while. Look at that. I think the person who wore this was, of course, a drug dealer. And I think he got shot. Probably. This guy just seriously got shot. But these are tits. These are tits boots. It's my wall of voodoo garb. And they're very comfortable, but it's difficult getting upstairs because the toe's so long. You have to kind of go on your side. So yeah, I really want to do a video in the desert. I don't care what it's about. It's got to be in the desert. Dress up like a cowboy, bring an inflatable llama, and we're good to go. I've got a big black hat and everything. I was born for this. Let's talk about something else besides Carl's ridiculous dreams and aspirations. Nothing?
Yeah, with the last 2 songs getting added, band has like a freaking full album now.
Oh, cool.
We're moving from the songwriting to the getting prepared to start playing live, and hopefully like actually like at some point this summer, like just renting some studio time and getting all the vocals laid down so that we can then get it mastered and actually released.
Tell me about the release promotion, bloody blah blah blah.
Don't have any idea what we're going to do on that yet. I think we're going to do the 1 song a month kind of release schedule for all the collection of songs so that we can keep it moving as time goes on. And then like at the end of an album, release an album. And then like we're still going to need an artist. I mean, we need somebody that like does graphics-y stuff because none of us do that.
All right, I've got N. N's a painter. N is in Canada. N is amazing. So if you want me to, N did the covers of the last 3 albums. She did the last 2. Ignorance Cartel and
Oh yeah, no, and your stuff looks really good.
Diesel Priest, yeah, N's amazing.
Yeah. We want to find an artist that we can work with consistently because we're looking for style is a brand and the style.
Oh yeah.
And this is going to be for like all the things. This will be T-shirts and web graphics and album art and blah blah blah. Art.
Yeah.
And then looking at ways we can do background video for shows and videos. And then we're starting to like get the tech together for what it will mean to be on stage because it's different from being in the studio. Like I don't want to bring my notebook on stage. That's a thing that I've already experienced. I know that it can break. I was at the Ableton meetup on Tuesday, and
can I ask you, is there going to be? Are you sending MIDI on that thing, or is it just audio?
I would love a device that can play the backing track and shoot out MIDI. Synchronized with the backing track.
Is there going to be a backing video track?
And I found a device that can do backing track, video track, send out MIDI, and also provide a click track.
What device is this?
Let me dig up the link.
That sounds interesting.
Because it is a magical device.
See, why don't people have more fucking magical devices? Like.
There it is.
I still used a laptop with Cubase.
Yeah, on Tuesday night with the Ableton meetup, went to like demo one of my tracks from my notebook and got up on, got all set up, turned it on, the notebook powered up, immediately powered back down because I wasn't plugged into wall power. And at which point I was just like, I can never trust this in the real world.
Yeah.
Game over.
What is this device? I'm going to put it in the chat.
I'm looking up the link to it now. B-Beat.
What's it
There
called?
it is. It's made by MLive.
Oh.
Copy. This is I am definitely getting one of these because not that expensive.
How much is not that expensive?
It's like $500. For like replacing like most of the stuff that would break on stage, $500 is cheap.
Yeah. $500 is cheap.
The side thinks I'm in Italy.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Fantastic. Yeah, that
Very
sounds
cool device.
Yeah.
And it was Carl. Wrong Carl. It was what's his name? I found it because old man brain is kicking in. I'm sorry. I'll get to it. Move on without me.
Okay. That looks like cool. We were actually talking about getting to know your gear more, which we could talk about. I'm looking for something exciting to talk about.
Yeah. No. I learned a bunch of stuff at the Ableton meetup. And and music tech and systems technology, like stuff you run a company with. It's the same thing. Like everybody wants to buy this shiny new thing, and do believe me, IT departments are worse than musicians on this one.
Is that possible?
And then it's wild and way more expensive. IT departments will go out and spend $1 million on solving a problem, and then learn 10% of it, throw their hands up and be like, well, it's not working right enough for me, so I'll go out and spend $1 million on this instead, and then do the same thing, wash and repeat.
That sounds silly.
Musically, because it is. I mean, as musicians, we do exactly the same thing, though. I mean, lots of I'm guilty as well. It was like I got my Synth sitting right there, and I probably know 25% of how to make it do magical things, and it will do seriously magical things. I just haven't taken the time to learn it the rest of the way. And I've got loads of like plugins and software on the side that are kind of in the same boat. In some of its cases where it's just like, I don't have time. Some of its cases where it's like, wow, that's kind of a pain in the ass, so I'm not going to do it.
I'm just going to pull you up.
Just
going to pull you up. And Alex, you jump into this as well. Of your gear, what percentage do you know of your gear? Like, how well do you know your gear? And you can go around the world quickly. Go around the room. I'll start. K2000, probably 25%. R2, the Rev 2, maybe 30%. And I'm saying only 25% of the K2000 because it's insane. Like, there's funds and algorithms and it's madness. Profit Rev 2, maybe, I don't know, 20%, 25%. The Moog, maybe 50%. The Emaxes, maybe 60%. There's things, I've been using an Emax for 30 years. 30 fucking years. Over 30 years. And there's things on the Emax I still haven't done. Why? Because they suck. And the modular, 20%. The fucking Emulator 4, 20%, if even that. And the TX7, I've scratched the surface. And all those effects things over there, 20-30%. Now, if I got to know these things better, would I create better sound? Gee, I don't know, but I'd be inspired to push myself. It's another really interesting thing is that, like, I don't allow myself, okay, I'm going to sit down now with the manual and the keyboard, I'm going to play with this keyboard. I don't let myself do that, and I don't know why. I've always got this, you've got to work, you've got to do stuff, you've got to achieve. And I'm very tired of that. I'm really tired of that. I don't know where my hand's up. All right, somebody else go now.
Maybe
Okay.
you need to Sorry, do you want to go first? Okay. And maybe you need to schedule that in your calendar.
I actually think that's a really good idea.
I think there's a huge difference between knowing every function of a piece of gear and knowing its sweet spots. For example, like the Blofeld, I know basically what every parameter does. But sometimes you need to really know what values for, like, for example, the filter drive are good for certain sounds, and what filter types are good for certain sounds. Except knowing, like, it's just a 12 dB high pass and 20 dB low pass, for example. I think from the sound design point of view, I know like 50% of the Blofeld, but I know every function. Except maybe the more esoteric modulation stuff, like the logical gates and so on. From this MIDI keyboard, I basically just use the different MIDI channels and the sliders. Like configuring splits and so on, I have no idea how to do it. This has also presets for MIDI stuff, I just use one. The Dark Energy, I think it's difficult.
Have you found the arpeggiator?
Yes, of course.
I can't find the arpeggiator on mine.
Yeah, you have to activate it with the MIDI control change.
What control change is that?
I need to look it up in the manual.
My manual, I have the version 1 manual, and actually, mine's a prototype, and I don't even know if it frickin' worked. Is it a good arpeggiator?
Not really. I think because the synth isn't good at large scale tunings, it isn't good for like octave wide arpeggiators. Maybe if you're staying in one octave, it's great, but if you go beyond that, at least mine does.
No, I gotta learn. I gotta learn. I'm sorry, I interrupted you. Please go on.
No problem. I feel like I've gotten every sound of it that I could possibly get out of it, but if I rewatch your old video about it, I can't get the same sounds. I tried. Maybe it's just the way it's going through my mixing desk, or maybe you had like a different setup, but it just sounds so different. Maybe it's just a different chip.
Yeah, well, I know mine's a 24 dB. Yours is a 12 dB, and
no, it's 24.
Oh, is it? Okay. I was about to say, don't doubt the power of a 12 dB filter. They're bloody awesome. They're really, really good. Yeah, I might have a different core driving it and stuff, and plus use the modulation, the wave shaping on it is really fun. It's such a solid little synth.
Yeah, I think its biggest strength for the Mark I version, the biggest strength is that you can modulate the filter in audio rate both exponentially and linearly at the same time.
You can modulate the audio? Because of the LFO.
Yeah, right. You have two LFOs and they go super fast.
Yeah. I've never used that.
Because if you really go in there and find the right millimeter positions for the potentiometers, you can find so interesting stuff that doesn't even sound analog.
All right, can I ask you, do you ever pull stuff out of the output? And we'll get to you in a sec. I'm sorry, we're having a rant. Do you ever pull stuff out of the CV? For example, pull out LFO2, run it into something, and then stick it back in?
I used to do that, but I find that's usually not worth the time.
Okay.
Because the results I got weren't good enough for myself. I think that was partially because I didn't realize that the Dark Energy has different levels than the modular. And that's why it never worked out, because the modular levels are like way higher.
Yeah.
And I overdrove everything without knowing. Yeah, maybe I need to try again.
If I ever put
but
audio...
Was...
Go ahead.
Yeah, so sorry. The intercontinental delay is really big. So
If I ever put audio into the external input, I have to pull the I have to drastically pull down the I've got to attenuate it so much. And I don't want to get gear horn. But I got a 106-5 the other day. Did I tell you about the 106-5? It's really good. It's another supremely cheap dope for filter. And a guy sent me he does alien xenomorph tails as 4 HP rack parts for you. So I got 2 of them just randomly. It's another and it's only a 12 dB filter, but it's another amazing dope for filter for under $100. And I've had my eye on one for a while, and a guy wrote a review saying it's the best filter in the world, and I went, no, it's not. And I listened to it, and I went, oh, it's pretty good, because high pass, low pass band, and notch, and it's yeah, it's really good.
I think
And-
sorry.
Floor's yours.
I think it's a SAM clone, and I also think it's the same filter as in the Dark Energy 2, because for that they couldn't use the same chips because they were not available, and so they designed it completely new.
What is the Dark Energy filter? Please don't say it's a 120.
It's the same as in the 6th track, but it's tweaked differently. Like if you
So
listen
it's a
to the
Curtis?
6th track, it's a Curtis.
Huh. That's the SEM. Yeah, the Curtis is the 105. Good to know. All right, there you go. I just hate the 120. Hate it.
Yeah, it's interesting because the Dark Energy is sort of the dub for SAM, because it's like one expander with one voice,
Yeah.
and you can even make your own 4-voice or 2-voice, because internally in the circuit board there is a MIDI pass-through that you can polychain them.
Huh.
I've never heard of anyone actually doing this, but it is in the manual. Or
Also,
in the service manual or something.
Dope just released the AR111-6, which is basically a Dark Energy in 8 or 10 wide for $200 US. Really good filter, really good oscillator, a whole bunch of amazing for $200 fucking bucks, and it's this wide. I'm going to shut up and I'm going to throw this to Ivan. Thank you, Alex. I always enjoy chatting with you about Dope.
Let me just say the Octatrack, it's about 60%. But
Oh,
just
I'm sorry,
because
yes.
there's so much stuff that just not for me personally.
This then leads into a second question, which Ivan, you might want to hint towards, is that does knowing this stuff increase your music, the ability to write a good song? I don't know, but Ivan, the floor's yours.
Okay. My System 8. I can't think of something that I need to learn about that thing, because it has been my workhorse for a very long time, and I went into it knowing it would be my workhorse, so I learned the crap out of it. Same with my System 1M in the Eurorack. You know, it's basically like the System 8's little brother, and so transferring knowledge between the two is quite easy. Also, yay Roland, you know the UI on these things does not suck.
Are they digital or analog or both?
They are analog modeling digital.
Yeah. They're really closely modeled digital, but you can put their in the System 8 you can put the Jupiter 8.
Yes.
Unfortunately not the Jupiter 6, but I think Juno's
Jupiter 8,
also.
the Juno 106, and I've got a third one. I can't remember which
Yeah,
one.
in the System 1 you can put, of course, the SH101, the
Yes.
SH2.
Huh.
I think one of their modulars. I don't know which Roland modular system it was. I think 100M or something.
Yeah, the 100. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
I wish I had
they're-
it, but
they are very fun hardware, very easy to get along with. So I know them really well. This will kill you, but I do know I know my virus quite well as well.
I also really like the virus. I think its biggest disease is that many people just use the presets.
I'm glad you're programming it.
But
yeah, no, because there's a lot of opportunity in there. It is not. And yes, I mean, like, in the early 2000s, might have gotten overly misused, I think might be the way to describe it. But it can do really rich, beautiful things. I like it. And of the things that make noise, that'd be the three things that I know the best. Slowly getting to know the Hydrosynth Deluxe. It is a very deep piece of hardware, so there's a lot to learn. But good news, it's always set up. I'm always learning a little bit more about it every time I touch it. Then I've got all my rack mount stuff. Like my D550, I know it pretty well because it's a D50 and a rack mount. My ESI 32, I need to spend a lot more time with that because it does a lot of stuff that I have not touched.
The filters, the Z plane filters are brilliant.
Yeah, no, and it's disappointing because it is a truly beautiful sounding piece of gear. And I really love the way it sounds. And there's a lot of stuff that I'm doing in software right now that I would love to move over to that because I think you can do a better job over there. But like right now, I don't really have a place to set up rack mount gear because this room is run out of space. And I have to, like, as soon as I'm up on the floor, the rack mount stuff's going to be in a rack where I can use it. So above the DSI, I've got my PCM 41, which, like, I've played with it a couple of times. I have not gotten to spend much quality time with it, and it does an amazing thing. Like, it is the early '80s delay of the gods. And then I've got a TC Helicon. Is that the voice? Yeah, got TC Helicon Voice Works. Which I powered it up once or twice. Again, it's rack mount.
Run your synths through that thing, not just vocals. Because
yes,
if it's got the voice modeling and the voice harmonizing and all that stuff, put a lead line through that and it will blow your mind.
Boom.
And the reverbs on that thing are great.
I've got a Virtualizer 3D and an Alesis MIDI Verb 2. That, I've spent no time with any of those just because rack mount stuff, I just don't have a place to rack mount. And then there's my Korg stuff.
Do you run that stuff through a patch bay?
Wave. I need to have a rack with a patch bay so I can do that.
And even better, have the rack face be 1/8 inch, so you can drive your modular through it. And if you want a brand, Mazatron, there's a brand in on the East Coast called Mazatron, and they have a thing called a patch bay, which you plug in 1/4 inch on the back, and it's got 1/8 inch on the front.
Oh,
it's
nice.
really, 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 really fucking good. It's so simple and it's ace. And you just buy a bunch of them, and you basically have everything and they're Eurorack faces. They're like six wide Eurorack. So all of my effects, all of this stuff, everything comes in at the Eurorack. And if I had my time again, I would have got a whole bunch of this Mesotron stuff because it makes it so much easier.
Nice. Yeah, and then I've got all my Korg gear. So I've got a Wave State, which is really
hold on.
crazy.
Which Wave Station?
The Wave State.
Okay. Oh yes. Cool.
The modern one. And it's great. I love it. It is really complicated to program, and so I've not spent enough time on that. And I all of the new stuff that I'm going to be writing for band, with the completion of this first unit of stuff, I'm switching directions on it. So like the wave state's going to get used. I've got the mod wave, which I love, and I know the mod wave reasonably. I'm probably at 50% on the mod wave, and then the their FM synth, the op6, 45% on that, because it's FM. It's very deep. It makes beautiful sounds. Need to spend more quality time with it. I do have the M1 as well. The M1 I know pretty well because like I've had plenty of time to learn the M1. Been around for 1,000 years.
1,000 years.
Easy. It's been around for so long. It feels as old as I do. And then I've got an external programmer for it, so I don't have to deal with the menu diving. Yeah, which definitely.
And the hard buttons.
Yes.
Yeah, they're not clear.
Grungy.
Yeah. No, that's awesome.
The and I think on the next batch of songs for band, I'm going in a like an M1 direction. It's like I want to use the percussion sounds on that because they have it sounds like it coming from an M1. Like it is so much its own thing.
They're beefy as hell.
Will you leave on the reverb?
They are, and yeah, and then and then I really want to use the op6 more because it is beautiful and lush. And then
go ahead.
And then and then drag in the other two, and then I really want to go with a kind of a more of a really want to explore like D minor Persian as my scale and mode for a whole lot of this stuff.
Brilliant. I just throw something out there.
The problem with industrial Mizrahi thing.
Awesome. The problem with D minor, just saying, if you tune your kick drum, the D will be resonating at 65 cycles. Or is that an C? I can't remember. It's pretty fucking low. And it might be a bit too low. So consider E or F if you tune your kick drum. I personally do not. But kick drums like that low, they're going to get lost in a lot of mixes. Just throwing it out there.
Yeah, I think I've experienced that and ended up moving the kick drum to get it audible again.
Yeah. One fun thing, if I may, so I just did this Ice Planet 9000 track, and I was streaming me fucking around with it last Sunday, and I run the TX7 through the Dopefer A137 Wave Shaper, and it's really amazing. And I put the slightest because that 137 will ruin stuff if you let it would just the most glorious ruination, but I put the slightest LFO on, I think, the symmetry or the harmonics or something, just so it was shaping it around. Then I ran that same LFO was modulating the 125, the A125 phaser, so it was shaping ever so slightly and also phasing ever so slightly, and then I ran it into massive reverbs, and it sounded fucking amazing because the TX7, that digital stuff puts up so much high-end harmonics that wave shaping and phase shifting just jumps in there and grabs it, and it makes the most lovely stuff. Really pretty, because I don't normally wave shape chords, but it's something I'm really going to start doing, is getting chords, driving it into the wave shaper, and especially those super clear digital chords, and you're not fucking it up, and it's not destroying them, it's just moving the actual harmonic content, and it's lovely.
Oh,
just
nice.
throwing it out there.
And then there's my Eurorack stuff, which I'm 30% there. Like that's probably on a good day.
Yeah.
Some of the modules I know backwards and forwards. A lot of them no.
Yeah. That's another really interesting thing, is that like I've got a sequencer, the Dopefer. I'm just plug dope for all the time. Sorry, it's awesome. I got the A155 with the A154 controller, and there is so much cool shit you can do with that. Like, you know, really, really cool stuff. And, you know, for me it all comes down to, this is about writing the song. But they can throw stuff on top of that really, really, really adds beautiful, beautiful things to it. Like, really nice. Like, Mozart called it fire. Like, all that really fast fire that he threw in on top of very, very simple ideas. You do the same thing, and it's really lovely. And plus, I heard this awesome trick, and I just went, oh my god. And the trick is you have an arpeggio of C major, and its major third, which is E major, sitting on top of each other. So it's going C, E major, C, E natural, G, G sharp, B, C. So it's playing this thing, and it adds. It's really Ice Planet 9000 stuff. You can do similar stuff with minors as well, because it's sort of augmented. You can do similar stuff with minor scales using diminished. So it would be C minor, C, E flat, F sharp, G, A, and this kind of like tonal cluster sitting over everything. Doesn't have to be right up in your face, just back a bit, and it's just adding this horrifying sprinkles. I'm ranting now. Yeah, so I think you're right, Alex. You were saying before, learn your fucking gear and be inspired.
Another interesting thing, I think, is whether you have everything plugged in at once, or just maybe take things out for certain songs and put them back if you're done with the song or done with sampling or so on. Because I've realized that it's better for me to not have everything plugged in at once, because then my setup gets so convoluted that I can't deal with it. And just sample the thing and put a synthesizer back in the closet until I...
Yes, I think that's a great idea. Also, moving your studio around, it's fantastic. Really, really great way of just, you know... I need to get rid of some gear. Alright, was there anything anybody else wanted to bring up, or do we want to write to MTV TV and get inspired by some awesome videos? We could do that. Let's do that. Alright, Diana, if you're there, we're gonna raid. And just a fun reminder, this every Saturday morning, please join us, and we're going to talk about gear and mental health and all sorts of fun things. And if you're bored, jump on Angelspit's Patreon and do some crazy shit. But for right now, we're going to go on over to MTV TV. Man, my gear is so slow right now. I hate you so much, said the computer to everything always. Here it is. Always be watching MTV TV, because there's some great stuff on there. And if you've got a video, send it in and they will play it. There's the email. And for now, we are going to set up a raid, and we're going to go to MTV TV, and I will show you now how amazing MTV TV is, because it's the best. And Diana, if you're there, you can try raiding as well. See you next Saturday, and thank you for joining us. Bye. Bye. Bye.